You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Happy to have you with me here today. Looking forward to another Mindset and Motivation Monday. Our opportunity, our chance to start this week off on the right foot, or any day you're listening to this show. This is the time to inspire ourselves to move forward. Not just to fill our body with motivation, inspiration, but what we really want to do is use this as the catalyst to take action in our life. Inspiration is great, but action is even better, and you will learn why today. So today, I want to cover the 7 underlying mistakes holding you back from manifesting your dreams or goals. And the reason is this, that many of us right now, we've set goals for our body transformation. We've set goals for our wellness. We've set goals for our finances or career. Maybe it's relationships or relationships with children or family members or parents as well. And we've set goals for our spirituality, our connectedness, our just ability to be at peace. Well, the issue is this, that if we want these things, we desire these things, maybe we've even created a vision board, right? If we have these thoughts in our mind, if we set these as our goals, yet we don't have them in our life, there are these hidden mistakes or these underlying mistakes that you don't presently know about that are holding you back from reaching your goals. I'm going to talk about some of those in just a moment. But you have to understand this, is that the only reason you have not achieved your goal yet, is because you are being held back. But you're being held back without the knowledge base of why. Because there are people right now that they've already done what you wanted to do, right? So we know it can happen. So let's just take that off the table. Whatever dis-ease you're struggling with, someone's already overcome it, okay? So there's a program, a blueprint, a formula, a protocol, or a doctor that can show you, or an integrative health practitioner, right? But if you're struggling with a poor relationship, you may not know why. But there are communication errors. There are certain things that both or one party's doing that are not allowing for the best relationship. Same with spirituality. There's some block within you that is not allowing you to be ultimately very happy, to feel like you've reached your purpose, your passion in life, and that you feel that deep sense of connectedness that I think most of us want. Or what about career and finance? Well, there's a reason right now, and again, it's probably a very simple reason, that you have not reached the goal that you're looking for. And most of that is simply the know-how. Well, that know-how can be found out if you know where to look. Same for body transformation, right? So a lot of people, they're trying to either add muscle, tone up, or they're trying to lose weight. Well, again, no matter how many times you've tried, no matter how hard you've tried before, no matter how many diets you've gone on, there's a reason right now, whether it's hormonal or it's blood sugar or it's cortisol or it's overall inflammation or it's too low calorie or it's whatever, but there's a reason why. And there's not 100 reasons why, there's probably only about a dozen or so, that you have not reached your ability to transform your body. So no matter what goal you are shooting for, and there could be many more than I've spoken about just right now in this intro, is I'm going to teach you the 7 main ones that you probably just haven't thought about before. Or if you've thought about some, you're cognizant of those, but you may not be recognizing the others that are truly holding you back. So let's get right into it. The first one is this, and I think they're going to make sense, especially as you hear all of them, because they begin to add up. And you say, oh, okay, I can see I'm doing a little bit of this one, a little bit of that, and combined, it's leading to me not being able to manifest my goals. Now, people use the word manifest, and it sounds woo-woo or new age or any of those things. Manifest is really just to make happen. Not out of thin air, not saying that, but manifest means to attract. Attract from thoughts, from feelings and emotions, and also from action. One of those favorite quotes that I love to say, and I say it quite often, and it's an Amish quote, is that as you pray, move your feet. right? So visualize, think about, desire, and at the same time, when opportunity presents itself, take action, move forward, ideally daily, right? And I've talked about that on previous shows, so I don't want to go as much into that today. I want to stick with, what are these 7 mistakes? What are these things holding you back from achieving your greatest desires? And I'm going to give you some of my own personal stories in here as well, things that I've seen in my practice. And I hope that enlightens you to see that we're all essentially the same, right? We get stuck in different areas of our life, but really for the same reasons. So the first one is this, and I just want to tell you, there's no doubt in my mind that I've suffered from every single one of these throughout my life. Now, the nice thing is I know them, so I can start to see myself slide into them again, and then I can pull myself out quickly, because that's what it's all about. Part of that human condition, right? Is like we tend to slide sometimes. Well, it's not about the sliding. It's not about getting sick every once in a while. It's about how quickly do you recover. If you've lost the weight, did you gain 5 pounds back? Not the end of the world, right? We can take that off with a good functional medicine 7-day detox. We can, get you back to your elimination diet. Not a problem, right? So it's not if you slide back every once in a while, it's how quickly you catch yourself and recover. So the first one is this. The first mistake is this. Knowing it all, okay? Knowing it all. And what is this all about? Well, it's you've convinced yourself that you know it all, and whenever that happens, it's going to stunt your growth, because you will never seek out the knowledge to be able to level up. So if you are thrilled, if you're ecstatic with where you're at right now in life, then good. I applaud you. I'm happy for you. You feel like you've met your ultimate potential, that you've reached your highest pursuit of happiness and all of the accolades and all of the benefits that go along with it, then absolutely fantastic. However, I will tell you this. I've never met a person that says, I'm good, that's it, there's nothing else that I really desire in life. Great if you have, but life is not necessarily about material desires, but desires to continually say, how great can I get this body? Meaning like in terms of health, overall quality of life, no pain, etc. And you might say, how great, I have a great relationship now with my, insert parents, kids, spouse, but how great could it be, right? Because you're always reaching for that next level. Well, I'll tell you this, whatever got you to the level that you're at right now won't take you to that next level. If it did, you'd already be there. So what you have to understand is this. We need to just be okay with, listen, I'm happy with everything I learned to this point. I'm grateful for the life that I live. No matter where you're at, you say that, because it can always be worse. Because that's the perspective, right? My 2 favorite words, gratitude and perspective. Perspective, that it could be 10 times worse. I did a Motivation and Mindset Monday about 2 years ago on that. Have the perspective that no matter where you're at right now, body, health, spirituality, relationships, career, it could be 10 times worse. And I'll tell you, if you don't know what that's like, you can visit the people, situations, etc., where you can see it's 10 times worse. So have the perspective that it could be worse, which leads to gratitude that you're happy for what you have right now. However, you're open to more in your life. You're open to accepting more because you're willing to be more. You're willing to say, I don't know it all. I don't have it all figured out. And for sure, I was there for all of my teenage years and I would say early 20s. And I started to mature and I said, you know what? I've been knocked down so many times and I keep getting knocked down. Maybe I don't know it all. Maybe there's more to this. So I just started with what? An open mind. So you can be confident, nothing wrong with that, but simply say, I obviously don't know it all, because if I knew it all, I'd have already achieved my goals. So now I'm going to keep myself open to the books, to the mentors, to the opportunities to be able to take it to the next level. So the rebuttal to knowing it all, the remedy to knowing it all, would be keeping yourself open, right? Be confident, but keep yourself open. Number 2 is this, having to be perfect. Again, I cannot tell you how much of a work in progress I was when I was very young. It was, built into that pitta, built into that, also the mindset, the conditioning I had when I was young. I think a lot of it was a wall I kind of built, a wall I did build up around myself for various reasons of I had to be perfect. And that was for a multitude of different reasons I felt that way. Well, it took time, but once I recognized it and how much it was hurting me, I began to slowly chip away at that wall. And I didn't need to be perfect. And here's why. Perfection is the surest way, the absolute surest way to stunt your growth. And this is why. You'll never know what you don't know. And you won't know what you don't know unless you practice being non-perfect. Let me repeat that. You'll never know what you don't know. And you won't know what you don't know unless you practice being not perfect. So here's what I mean. If you don't go out there and say, I'm unwilling to put forth some of my not perfect work with relationships. You might not know it all, but you're trying to meet the right person or at least improve your current relationship. Same with your health. I don't know it all, but before I know it all, why don't I take a step forward? Perfectionism and knowing it all kind of goes hand in hand. You're trying to know it all, right, before you start. Well, the problem is this. You can never know it all, and here's why. You don't even know the right questions to ask. Until you make some mistakes, you're like, oh, I didn't even know to ask that question, right? So here's the deal. Practice being non-perfect. Let yourself off the hook. Just say, listen, I'm not going to be perfect when I put out this podcast. I mean, my first 100 podcasts, not my best work. It was my best work then. But how would I know how to improve if I had never done a podcast before? How is that humanly possible? Did I hire a coach for 4 months? I did. Did I take a podcast course on how to launch a podcast? I did. Could that make me perfect? Of course not. I mean, think about this. You can read a book on playing the piano. You can study the notes. But until you actually play the piano and practice and make some mistakes with timing, finger placement, using the pedal, etc., you have no idea what you don't know, right? So you have to get out there and you have to move one step forward towards your goal. And as you move along the path, you will begin to learn the right questions to ask. So I mentor a few people in terms of their own health career. And then I said, I have to get this right. I have to get this right. And I say, yeah, you do have to work towards that. But you need to start putting out some of your material. You need to start doing something because we're going to be having the same conversation 6 months from now. And that's not okay for either one of us. So I have to push them to just get started and to realize that they're following their community or whoever, like it's just not that big most likely in the first place. So don't worry about it. People are going to be accepting of you knowing that you're trying. You're just starting out. If someone gets upset at my first, 50 podcasts because maybe it didn't have the same flow or didn't have the same energy or whatever it might be, well, it's just they're not really part of my community. They're not they don't really vibe with me, right? Because I practice, forgiveness and I practice understanding. And that's why when I have a wellness client in my practice and they mess up or they have a cheat meal when they're not supposed to, I say, I understand. But now let's just get back on. Let's get started again. Because I would rather 80, 90% of the protocol rather than 100% of nothing. So let's get started. So that's number 2. Please, the attitude of having to be a perfectionist or being perfect is that you simply can't be. And you're going to miss out from all of the opportunities to ask the real questions of how you can really advance quickly. My feeling is this: not only be open to making mistakes, make mistakes as quickly as possible so that you can grow fast. That's the bottom line right there. Number 3 is this: expectations of what you're supposed to be, right? It's all in your head, but there's still real expectations. You believe what your parents feel you should become or who you are. So your parents have a viewpoint of you. Your friends have a viewpoint of you. You're supposed to be this type of person, or you're the type of person that does this. Your family, siblings, cousins, they look at you as this type of person. So therefore, you need to act in this specific way. Those are all expectations that you have of other people that you believe they're placing on you. Maybe rightly so, but they're still expectations. And then you have your own expectations of you. You are meant to be this. You're supposed to be this. In order for you to be happy, you have to have this, right? So many expectations leads to so much stress. When ultimately, many of those expectations can be boiled down further. And I've taught you this on a previous Mindset and Motivation Monday. And I do hope that you go back and you tune into those. Simply go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. Just scroll down the page and you'll see MM, and that just stands for Motivation and Mindset Monday. Those are the shows every week on a Monday. So here's the thing. The way that I help people get well and lose the weight and live a longer, stronger life is that unlike conventional medicine or other forms of medicine, I simply keep asking why. People say, I have high cholesterol. And I say, okay, why? They say, oh, well, everyone in my family had high cholesterol. I say, oh, okay, why? And typically then they say, oh, it's genetics. And I say, okay, why? And that's where it stops. Most people can't answer after that. And that is where an integrative health practitioner or a good naturopathic doctor or bioregulatory doctor practitioner will say, the why below that most people never realize is that there's only about a half a dozen reasons for your high cholesterol. And everyone in your family, yes, it's in your genetics, but you didn't have high cholesterol at 8 years old. So why do you have it at 38? And the reason is now your rain barrel is full, or something's changed in your life or caught up with you. And you could say it's inflammation, but then what do I ask again to that? Why? Why do you have the inflammation? So we go into the certain foods you're eating, the certain exercise that you may or may not be doing. Could have to do with higher levels of stress and cortisol and catecholamines. Could have to do with low thyroid. Could even have to do with low vitamin D. Could have to do with dysfunctional liver-based patterns. So we just move through those and that's it. Even after that, why the dysfunctional liver detoxification leading to the high cholesterol? We ask why to that. Here's why. Remember, you can always ask why. So getting back to the expectations, a good friend of mine, he went to everyone in his family, the expectation from his parents is that you need to become a doctor. So he was, parents were first generation in the United States. They came over actually from Syria. And everyone had to become a doctor or a lawyer. This is legitimate in his family. So he had 3 siblings, and he became a chiropractor. So he said, okay, because he was in the health profession and loved training. So he said, I'm going to become a chiropractor. That's the closest thing that I can find to what I enjoy. Graduated, became a doctor, parents happy, never practiced a day in his life. So he felt he had to make them happy, so he got the degree while he was living under their roof, as you say, right? He got the degree. Good. What did he do? He went on to become and still is, a very well-known personal trainer and has opened up some very successful gyms. That was his passion, right? But what's his real why? He wanted to help other people transform their body because he grew up a little overweight, not in the best shape. His why was helping people to transform their body. But why does he want to help people transform their body? So they feel good about themselves, right? So they feel confident. So they can go out there and live their best life. There are so many whys below that, right? You have to understand the expectations that we believe are holding us back from ultimately what we deserve and we desire in life. So let's throw out the expectations other people have of us, figure out our true why, which I explained last week. So check that out. Go back to episode 1081. Today's 1088. So go to stephencabral.com/1081, and I'll help you to discover your life's purpose in 5 main questions. All right, so check out that show. So our next one for today, our next point, that was number 3, is expectations. Number 4 is this. We deny opportunities because it's not exactly what we thought we were looking for. Keyword, what we thought we were looking for. So let's say that we want to open the health wellness center of our dreams, right? I'm just going to use this as an example. And you've just got your certification, you got your degree, whatever it might be. And you say, great, I can't wait to get out there and I can't wait to start taking on clients. But you don't know anything about running a practice and you don't know anything about getting clients. And so what happens is people start to see your work, you're posting online, you're doing good work, maybe you're doing a podcast, whatever it might be, you're doing videos, and people are like, oh, great. And a local doctor happens to see your work because a patient mentions you to him or her. And they reach out to you and they say, I'm actually looking for a health coach in my practice to help people with some of the functional medicine labs that I have for follow-ups and nutrition. And because you said to yourself, no, I have to own my own wellness center, you turn down this opportunity to potentially mentor under a great doctor or health practitioner in their own right for a couple years. Well, you learn how to do things, right? So what happened was a real estate agent just didn't come to you and say, hey, here's a space. I think it would be perfect for a wellness center, right? That wasn't what presented itself to you. Why? Most likely because you weren't ready for it. And that's not a bad thing. It means that you are working your way up the ladder. Honestly, is sometimes we turn down. The universe is trying to help us. It's trying to guide us along our journey. I honestly believe that. You don't have to believe that if you don't want to. I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that. All of these help whether you believe it or not. I tend to believe in more of a benevolent-based universe rather than one that's out to get us. Whether it's true or not, it's a great way to go about life. Why would I go about life as a pessimistic person? I dealt for 25 years I was a pessimistic person. I'm done with that. That's over. That life's over. I'm a new person, right? And you get to create that person that you choose to at any time. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight, but you can certainly make that change overnight and then reinforce that every day going forward. So here's the thing. Don't deny opportunities as the world, universe, is presenting you with options so that you can understand that it's your opportunity to mold that into eventually whatever you want it to become, right? But it's not going to sometimes lay out the silver platter with exactly what you want. You're going to work towards that. And that's how I see people manifest it, right? The body, the career, the relationships. You don't end up in the perfect relationship. You might meet that person that's imperfectly perfect, just like you. And together, you work on becoming a little bit more perfect, right? That's it. Knowing that perfection doesn't exist, you're going to have your bad days. I know what I'm supposed to be doing on a daily basis. I know how to be a better father. I know how to be a better husband. But sometimes I have bad days, and that's just the way it is. And I know they're going to happen. And I know the reason they're going to happen is because I'm human, right? I'm not perfect. Most likely you're not either. Maybe you are. I don't want to deny that, but most likely you're not, right? So let's drop those expectations. Let's drop the perfectionism, and let's not deny the opportunities of trying to become a little bit better and achieving what we want in life. So here's the fifth one. Believing you need to go it alone. I'll tell you right now, I could have been much further along in every area. Wellness, body transformation, relationships, career, spirituality, if I had not believed I had to go it alone. And I read thousands of books by the time when I was in my 20s. Thousands of books. And that part of it was because the internet existed. I just didn't have a computer. Again, I'm not coming from a place where like I had a laptop growing up. I didn't even have a computer in college. Why? Because it was a couple $1,000s and I didn't have a couple $1,000s to buy a computer. So I had a computer library, we called it, at college. And that was great. It was fine. And I went there and I got to, use a computer. But again, it was like dial up online. It was kind of ridiculous. So anyway, that's that. I had a love of reading. Reading was essentially all of my virtual mentors. And I read a lot, but I would have excelled even faster had I had a coach or mentor in every facet of my life. Now I'm making up for lost time. I understand that oftentimes we are our own worst enemy. Like the truth is that, I'm going to save that for the next one, but you have to understand is that you need an outside perspective. You only look at life through your own lens, which is why oftentimes we haven't reached our goal yet because we're missing something. We have one lens to view through. What if someone showed you a camera with a better zoom lens on it, a better telescope? They could picture you. You could see further down the path. Do you believe that you would achieve more and faster if you already knew what was coming? Of course. How would you already know that? By getting a mentor, a practitioner, doctor, therapist that's already worked with someone like you, that's already done something like you want. They've already been there, so they know what's coming next for you on your path, which is why I do a little bit of mentorship, because I already know what the person doesn't even know. And I say that all the time to wellness clients too, like, listen, I can see exactly where you're at in your journey. I know right where you're at, and you're great. You're doing great. And I don't even want to tell you what the next questions you're going to have are. I'm going to let you experience that. But just know that you're exactly where you should be, and you're moving along the path. And then I will share with them what to do next, but I will not overwhelm them. So one of the things too, and I can just share with you from Equilibrium Nutrition, is that we are growing into, or if not already, the largest international virtual functional medicine practice in the world. We ship labs, in my opinion, or to my knowledge, to more countries than anyone else in the world. No one else has ever done this at scale. There's a lot of questions that come with that. We now get labs to Australia and New Zealand within 8 to 10 days. Europe within about 5 to 8 days. And we ship in the US within about 2 to 3 days now. That's taken a couple years to get to. We're going to improve even more. We're going to be able to ship to Australia in that amount of time. We're using different codes based on their import system to be able to release them from customs even sooner, because we get them there in 4 to 5 days. Customs hold them for a couple days. No one's ever done this before. So what am I doing? I don't know how to do this. This is certainly not my expertise, right? My expertise is in bioregulatory medicine, naturopathy, functional medicine, orthomolecular medicine, bioregulatory medicine, Eastern-based philosophy, traditional naturopathy. Like, that's what I study. Outside of that, I don't know how to do any of that. What did I do? I hired an international consultant that specializes in this. I hired people that can advise me on what to do and essentially do it because I don't want that to be my job, right? So what I'm saying to you is, if you're stuck somewhere, there is someone that's already figured it out, and they could be your coach. Now, if you can't afford the coach, like I couldn't in my 20s, you can read their book, because most people have already given you their blueprint, like I've done on the Rain Barrel Effect, that costs you under $10. And it's everything that I do in my practice. Why do coaches and doctors and people do that and they give away all of their stuff? The reason is they've already gotten to where they want to get in life in terms of practice. They can't work with any more people, really, because they're totally booked up. I mean, I can work with more people because I have an amazing team. But you need to get this information out to other people. It's your passion, and you feel like you need to now share this with others all over the world to a scale of not thousands or tens of thousands, but now millions and tens of millions. And that is why. And so it really is, when you read these books, it's people's best stuff. Number 6 is this. So I can't recommend that enough. The books, the videos, the seminars, the certifications, the direct mentors, etc. Don't believe you need to go this alone. It's going to take too long to figure it all out on your own. Number 6 is this. Allow yourself to succeed. I'll tell you right now, I've made my biggest breakthroughs in the last 3 years. There's no doubt about it. That is it's really when I started the podcast. It's really when I stepped out of my comfort zone. Things changed. I simply said to myself, I'm not going to be my worst enemy anymore, because many of us are. I'm going to get out of my own way. I respect everyone else's opinion. I'm doing this for other people, but their opinion of me is none of my business. It's not. I know my truth. You don't like the way that I practice medicine. You don't like my voice. You don't like the way that I speak. You don't like my website. You don't like whatever. That's okay. I understand. And you are welcome to that opinion. I can't control that. What I'm going to do are help the people that I connect with. And that's it. And if it's 10 people, great. If it's 10,000, even better. If it's 10 million, fantastic. Right? But what I'm going to do is begin to live my truth. So I'm going to allow myself to succeed. And I'm going to start to do the things that I want to do with my life, that I believe are ultimately what are going to bring me more enjoyment, right? Which is going to lead to more happiness. I didn't want to keep seeing the 60 hours of people in my practice every single week. And I was seeing, my practice was doing 20,000 appointments a year. I wanted to reach 20,000 people a day. That was my goal. We achieved that. I'm super excited about that. I went from seeing 20,000 people a year in my practice with my team to now 20,000 a day or more on the podcast. And that's exactly what I wanted. That was my goal. And I feel like I'm living more of my truth. But there are a lot of people that I work with, and they want to do the 1,000, 2,000 appointments for themselves a year, which is great. That's their truth. No one's here to tell you what your truth is. But I need you to allow yourself to succeed. And the problem is this, is that many of us are our own worst enemy. And the reason is of self-talk. We say we want one thing, but then we put ourselves down, or we say something like, oh, the odds of that happening are just slim to none. And Slim just left town, right? Like, we say these things all the time. What are they? Those are conditioning from when we're younger. I mean, how many of us have been taught, oh, the odds of that happening are slim to none? Well, now they're even less than that, right? They're less than none, if you can get less than none. Because you program that into your subconscious that there's no chance of that happening, right? There's no chance. So when I do new things and step out of my comfort zone, I release the expectations, right? What was that? That was back on number 3. I release my expectations of what it's supposed to be, and instead simply move forward with, this is how it can be. This is how it could be. I keep my mind open, which allows me then to practice non-judgment, right? You don't have to be the person like most of us were and are that say, well, I'm not the type of person that X ever happens to. Now insert whatever you want. I'm not the type of person that has great relationships. I'm not the type of person that's ever found true love. I'm not the type of person to be able to lose the weight and keep it off. I'm not the type of person to ever be well. I'm not the type of person to have that type of career, right? I'm not the type of person to really ever be happy for that long. Or it's probably not possible because no one in my family has ever been able to take off the weight. No one in my family's ever not had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, been overweight, etc. No one in my career has ever really got to that level of success financially. No one in my family ever seems to be really that happy for that long. We trend more towards anxiety, depression, a seasonal affective disorder. No one in my family's ever had great relationships. Most of us end up in poor relationships or alone. If you go in with that type of subconscious mindset, and it is subconscious a lot of the time, what happens is this: you self-sabotage. Things start to go well, and then what do? Well, you return right back to your set point because your thermostat is set at a certain temperature. And the temperature is whatever you allow yourself to believe you can succeed in. What do I need you to do? Reset the thermostat slowly. If it's set at 52 degrees, I don't need you to jump it up to 78. I need you to move it from 52 to 53 because then it starts to be believable. If no, I can have the most amazing relationship in the whole world and you've never had a good one, that might be tough. Might be tough for your subconscious to accept. But what if you said, I can improve this part of my relationship and work on that? And then you say, and maybe that will lead to even greater things. Just keep it open. And then that doesn't seem like such a hard pill for your subconscious to swallow. And then you can take the next step. Build off of your wins. Allow yourself to succeed in life. Number 7 is this. This is a huge mistake. Believing you will make it at some point in your life, make it in quotations, and that all your worries, all your troubles, and all your struggles will magically disappear. If you are waiting for that to happen, I can assure you that happiness will never come. And the reason is this: you will always encounter obstacles in life. There will always be obstacles and walls and mountains on your path. There really will be. And the reason is it's part of the human journey. It's been written about since the dawn of time. That's why part of the 7, what we do with the integrative health practitioners, there's 7 parts to it. And part of that's Eastern philosophy. And that's missing in all forms of school. Even if you go back for your naturopathic doctoral degree, which is amazing, right? Not saying that. They don't teach that part. How do you not work on mindset when it holds people back? You have to understand this has been written about since the dawn of time. Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, Taoism. I mean, you don't have the happiness without a little bit of sadness sometimes. Your yang allows you to then balance it with yin, right? Your struggles, we'll call that yang, can be balanced then with the overcoming of those struggles and then enjoying the happiness of that, the happiness of pursuit, the happiness of your passion, which is through doing a lot of what you love, through service, seeing it manifest in your life, not always having it right now, with achieving new goals, right? We set and achieve new goals. And, the nice thing is this, is that when we do encounter new obstacles, when there are new struggles in front of us, they simply allow us to have and improve on our perspective and gratitude. And that's where we started, is that when we go through a struggle, whatever it may be, whether it's a family member being sick or ourselves temporarily, for example, I have never been healthier in my life. I've never had more energy. I'm pain-free. Coming from someone that had type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is basically chronic flu-like symptoms, POTS, Addison's disease, which is no cortisol, no energy, right? To say that now is almost unthinkable. But what I did was I rebuilt my body and rebuilt my mind. And I used to worry, though, when I got sick that I would relapse because that used to happen so often to me. Now, when I get sick, lasts a couple days. No big deal. I don't let it affect my life. And if anything, I say thank you. Thank you. And it sounds strange, but I say thank you. Thank you for helping me to remember how bad it was when I was sick. Thank you for helping me to remember why I continue to choose healthy foods when it's much easier to eat processed foods and sometimes more delicious. Thank you for helping me remember why I exercise and that I can exercise when my body's feeling well because I used to not be able to. Thank you for helping me to remember that if I miss a night's sleep, I'm not going to relapse and become extremely sick for weeks or if not months. Thank you for helping me remember when my mindset was so poor, it affected all of my relationships. Thank you for helping me to remember when I felt like I was disconnected from everyone and everything, that now I realize I have great relationships, that I am connected with the universe, that I am trying to live a life of service. These obstacles are ways to increase our ability to give gratitude and truly be happy with what we have right now, knowing that it's okay to still ask for more. There's nothing wrong with that. And especially when you understand the asking for more typically means you're going to give more of yourself. And as you give more of yourself, you help others. You lift them up. The universe will always reward you for that. Hopefully today's podcast was helpful. If these 7 tips, these underlying mistakes that many people are making that are holding them back from manifesting their goals and dreams and destiny, if this was helpful, I do hope that you share this show with them. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.